Hey guys, Ruminating Reaper here. So it's Sunday, fairly grey day, perfect cinema going conditions. So I'm about to head in to see one I have been really excited for. Send Help. Yeah, this is the new film from Sam Raimi with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Trailers for this have looked really good, whole setup is really interesting. Basically, it looks like a prime setup for Raimi to deliver his usual craziness. I've been hearing great things, so got my fingers crossed he'll deliver the goods. But the only way to find out is to head in, get some snacks, and get seated for Send Help. So I've got my popcorn here and a Sprite, ready for a brand new original horror from Sam Raimi. So, Send Help. I am back from seeing it. This, of course, is the new film directed by Sam Raimi, marking his first original foray into genre filmmaking since Drag Me to Hell, all the way back in 2009. Obviously, he has directed films since then, but obviously it has all been franchise fare, with obviously Oz, the Great and Powerful, and of course, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And so obviously the prospect of a brand new Sam Raimi original had me absolutely pumped. This is him with the shackles off, full freedom to just go wild and do whatever the hell he wants. Exactly the kind of stuff that made him a household name in the first place. But does the film actually deliver on that trademark Sam Raimi craziness? Well, let's find out. So the film follows Linda Little, a woman who works in strategy and planning at a corporate office job. The company she works at is due to be taken over by the boss's son, Bradley Preston, of which she has been promised a big promotion. However, Bradley passes her over for the position, but he gives her a chance to prove that she's worth keeping as he invites her on a company trip to Bangkok to finalise a big merger. However, the plane crashes en route, leaving Linda and Bradley the two survivors, and so, stuck on a remote Thai island and forced to rely on each other, Linda shows that she's more than her timid, unassuming nature lets on as she takes full control of the situation by calling upon her survival expertise. I must say, it's nice having Sam Raimi back. Obviously he hasn't gone anywhere, but it's great that in the age of franchise-driven filmmaking, we can still get these mid-budget original genre pieces that filmmakers like Raimi can bring their distinct voices to. And if you're here to see Raimi back doing exactly the kind of stuff that made him a name in the first place, you won't be disappointed, because it is an absolute blast. So the film gets off to kind of an unassuming start. Obviously the opening scenes are necessary because they do very much establish Linda and Bradley's characters, but even in that slightly slower opening stretch, you can still very much see Raimi's fingerprints all over this, particularly in some brilliantly done, uncomfortable, extreme close-ups. And so obviously, when shit does go down, it really kicks into gear. And obviously, yes, this whole thing is just Sam Raimi through and through. You can really see it in some brilliantly done, absolutely insane, stylized camera and editing choices. A notable highlight being a sort of montage where the camera pans across to Bradley's face, very much to show the passage of time. Raimi, of course, also injects heaps of bloody violence into the mix as well. Particularly great scene where Linda goes hunting for boar. It also injects some really well-timed jump scares that really caught me off guard. But of course, in Raimi fashion, there's this whole streak of pitch black, dark comedy running through it. The whole thing is just a real crowd pleaser. It is a great one to experience with an audience because, again, there's those big laughs, those sort of wince-worthy violent moments, and those shocking moments where you jump out of your seat. Yeah, Raimi is very much on the top of his game here. The whole atmosphere is very much enhanced by a great score from Danny Elfman. Now, really, the one disappointing thing here is that there are some sort of digital elements in here. There's some CGI additions and some green screen backdrops that really do stick out as being kind of artificial. But again, Raimi is so in his element here that for the most part he is kind of able to style it out. Now, obviously, for as much fun as Raimi is having bringing this whole thing to life, this is very much a setup, obviously being built around the dynamic of two characters that lives or dies based on the performances. And well, I'm happy to say, they delivered. Rachel McAdams absolutely crushes it as Linda. Obviously, this sort of, timid, awkward character, and she very much has this fine line to walk where obviously she's very much meant to be kind of off-putting to the other characters, but she also has to be endearing to the audience, and McAdams hits that balance with ease. And so obviously, yes, when it all kicks off and Linda gets to show off her more resourceful, resilient, and kind of feral side, McAdams really relishes it, and honestly, this might just be the best performance I've seen from her. She is fantastic here, as is Dylan O'Brien as Bradley, who starts out as this, obnoxious, smarmy, privileged character. Again, he has a fine line to walk. Obviously, he has to be quite obnoxious and off-putting to other characters, but he also has to be sort of likable enough that we, the audience, can still sympathize with him. And again, O'Brien hits that balance, and it's really fun seeing this, overconfident, privileged character be put in a situation where he is very much the vulnerable one. He is very much not in control and just, powerless throughout. And yeah, he absolutely crushes it. In general, Raimi gets a lot out of the both of them. Their dynamic is great. They play off each other really, really well, which really helps in selling the shifting dynamic of power. But they also play really well off each other in some surprisingly gentler scenes where they actually bond over potential common ground. It injects a sort of, gentler, more human heart to the madness. It's really well done and brings those tragic and sympathetic layers to the characters. Which is to say that the whole thing gradually gets more and more insane as it goes on, perhaps fitting with Linda's increasingly feral state. And so it means that when the final act rolls round, yeah, this thing just goes full Sam Raimi. There's some big twists and turns in here that I really did not see coming, and I don't think you could ever be prepared for. So definitely try to go into this thing as blind as possible. There's also a lot of really brilliant, brutal, violent scenes, and also some absolutely insane filmmaking choices that just hit such a gloriously bonkers high, particularly a match cut so insane that it actually puts the equivalent from Superman to shame. It could only have come from a Sam Raimi movie. And in general, this whole thing is a real crowd pleaser, which rings especially true in this absolutely glorious climax. Just an absolutely wild experience that I had a ton of fun with. Overall, Send Help gets a lot of mileage out of its very simple, very effective setup, thanks to some reliably bonkers filmmaking from Sam Raimi, as well as plenty of laughs, plenty of shocking moments, plenty of violence and twists and turns, and of course, great performances from Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Definitely do see this one on the big screen. Out of 10, Send Help gets an 8. So, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Send Help? What did you think of it? Without spoiling it, what did you make of the film's big turns? What is your favourite Sam Raimi film? And are you excited for more originals like this to come from him? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.